Good morning. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Senate Insurance Committee. First item on the agenda I'd like to go to is Senate Bill 2319. Senator Boyd, would you're recognized to handle that, please?
This bill is in response to a peer report that came forth this summer. And one of the things that the peer report did is that it looked at ways that we were not effectively trying to capture all the dollars we could for unpaid child support. What this bill will do is it will require the treasurer to look at unclaimed property and to apply that when appropriately for child support arrearage. So if you look at 151, beginning there, there's some renumbering that goes on there. And then if you'll look at beginning at lines 178 and go through 206, you will notice that the treasurer is placed in there. And this actually, all it does is makes this gender neutral. It said him. So this will apply to there. And so this puts the treasurer in charge at looking at this, and it has the process and all of that it goes through. What the treasurer will look at to look for the unclaimed, for looking at the unclaimed property to see if it'll appropriately help satisfy the child support. Any questions?
Over here.
Dr. Hill.
So the Department of Human Services contractor is the one who's going to send these claims to the treasurer, and the treasurer is going to sift through those claims and see if they have any unclaimed property.
To my understanding, that's correct.
Do we have some mechanism in place where if the contractor for the Department of Human Services mistakenly sends somebody's name over there that's already satisfied their child support to intercept their unclaimed property, what is the mechanism that person would have to use to fight it? Because I know quite a number of my constituents that have fully paid their child support and can't seem to get it straightened out through this contractor with Department of Human Services.
Senator Hill, I think we are looking at a number of bills to go into different areas, including the lottery does this right now. This process has worked well with the Mississippi Lottery. They're already doing this process. I think we're looking at it and looking at gaming revenues, and we're looking at it across. What you're talking about is a situation really that's evolving before it even gets to the treasurer's office.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a bill collector. If a bill collector calls you and you have already satisfied that debt and they continue to do this, I think it's going to have to be something that you work out with the primary person. And the best way to do this is through our court system, who's ordered the child support.
So the contractor, when they make a mistake, they have no liabilities. What you're basically saying, somebody's gonna have to take them to court.
This is kind of a multi-step process. I'm not saying that the person that has issued, basically they're issuing a debt that the person doesn't owe. So that's going to have to be in relation with that person who's doing the enforcement. And I think the Department of Human Services does have some mechanisms in place for that. I am not prepared to talk about that today.
Thank you.
Dr. Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, how does this relate to insurance?
Senator Blackman, I can't answer that question. I'm just going to present the bills that were given to this committee as the chairman directs.
Okay, my other question is the Department of Treasury. Will that require any additional software for them to be able to process whether there are some unpaid child support?
Senator Blackman, they have not apprised me of any software that they would need in developing this at this point in time.
So you have communicated with the Department of Treasury related to this?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions? Boyd, do you have a motion?
Title sufficient, do pass.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass. Senate Bill 2319. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill will be reported. All right, Senate Bill 2336, we're simply extending the repealer on the ability of our state health insurance management board to make the premium payments into our state health insurance plan. That's literally all we're doing, extending it to 2026. Are there any questions? Senator Clinton, you have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, title sufficient, do pass.
All right, the motion is title sufficient to pass. Senate Bill 2336. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, Senate Bill 2450. This is deals with the Mississippi Windstorm Underwriting Association, also known as our wind pool. We've had bills here. This is the third year I've been chairman of this committee. We've had bills every year dealing with this issue because if we do nothing, the wind pool, the 3% non-admitted policy fee diversion to the wind pool will cease to exist on June 30th of this year. So we have looked at ways to put the money to good use from the wind pool, the non-admitted policy fee. That's a fee that's charged on surplus lines insurance. These are the carriers that are not domiciled in Mississippi. And that fee, the way the bill is written, will be diverted to our state and school health employees insurance fund. To give you some ideas of the financial stabilities of both of these funds, unfortunately, our state and school employees health insurance fund has been going through a lot of cash lately. I serve on the ARPA subcommittee, and we're looking at a very large possible appropriation through ARPA funds to try to bring that account whole. But just to give you some ideas, in calendar year 2015, the fund had $274 million cash on hand. And I serve on the oversight committee of that board, and so does Senator Hobson. And we've really been able to understand how important it is and how well the program works. But in 2016, the plan lost $20 million. 2017, it lost $25 million. 2018, it lost $40 million. 2019, $44 million. 2020, $33 million. And those 2020 numbers are not complete with the COVID information that we've received. So far, the board has documented about $120 million worth of COVID-related losses that you might be requested to vote on ARPA funds. I don't know that all of that will be replenished in there. So what will be happening is this 3% non-admitted policy fee amounts to about $15 million a year. That money will divert to our state and school employees healthcare fund. The wind pool balance, on the other hand, has gone the opposite direction of what the health insurance balance has done. The wind pool balance had around $205 million in 2014, but over the last 6 years, our last numbers that we have is November the 30th, it has grown to $357 million. The board's doing a very good job with the money. They also have other sources of income. They have investment income. They have premium income. So we will be diverting this $15 million approximately per year, which amounts to about 4% of the total assets of that fund, into the state and school health employees insurance fund. Now, we put a stopgap measure in the bill. Since they have $357 million now, if at any time that fund gets below $250 million, the diversion will cease and the money will go back to the wind pool. So December 31st of every year, we'll look at the balance in the wind pool. And if it's over 250 million, then the diversion will go to the state employees healthcare fund. And if it drops below 250 million, it will revert back to the wind pool. Any questions on the bill? Senator Hill.
What was the original mission of the non-admitted policy fee in the wind pool?
After Hurricane Katrina, the insurance commissioner had the ability to assess the domestic companies for the losses. The non-admitted carriers, which are the surplus lines, he did not have that ability. So there was a fee added to policies sold in the surplus lines. And these are sold in all 82 counties. There was a misnomer at one time that it was just on the coastal carriers. But these are policies that are sold statewide. that are sold through the surplus lines.
What is each year, you've talked about the plan increasing in value from the fees. What are they doing since Katrina with the money? What's the money been used for since Katrina?
All right, paying claims. When we had a loss, what was it, Ida? Commissioner, was it Ida that was about 3 years ago, or Zeta? Zeta. There was some losses associated with that. A couple of things we've done since Hurricane Katrina is, there was an argument over wind versus water damage.
Yeah.
So in the wind pool now, the carriers are having, the policyholders are having wind as well as water flood damage. So that's helping a lot. So the policy.
Was there any thought of this potentially reducing insurance rates back down after they skyrocketed during Katrina?
Well, the goal is to get people out of the wind pool into the normal carriers, and that is being effective, very effective. They're doing a very good job with that. The board is.
Yeah. My concern is I've never seen my policy go down since Katrina. It's steadily gone up. With all this money being diverted, our insurance rates are still out of sight for coastal people. So I don't understand, if we got all this money, why aren't our rates going down?
Well, you've got a wind pool board that's in charge of, they're buying reinsurance, and I would encourage you to maybe attend their meetings, but that fund has grown very nicely, up to 357 million. Mister, did you want to add to that? And that was about $100 million storm, wasn't it? So there's three things we've done on a $130 million storm. It cost the wind pool about 28 million. After Hurricane Katrina, the houses have been built to better standards with the addition of the flood insurance, and then also the deductible on some instances on smaller storms. For instance, if you have a $400,000 house and you got a 5% deductible, then you have a $12,000, $15,000 loss. It doesn't cost the wind pool any money whatsoever. You've got a high deductible.
I guess my concern is if you set that floor at $250 million and you have another Katrina, we're going to be right back where we started with. That would be my concern.
And what is the amount of reinsurance they purchased last year, Commissioner? And so you have 600 million in reinsurance and 350 million cash on hand, so you're almost at $1 billion. And if the wind pool board wished, they could buy more reinsurance than 600 million. Okay, any additional questions? Thank you, Commissioner. Any additional questions? Senator McClendon, you have a motion?
Title sufficient, do pass.
The motion on Senate Bill 2450 is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Senate Bill 2669, Senator Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 669. This is an act to make insurance companies license issued by the Commissioner of Insurance perpetual. Really a simple bill until the time that the commissioner could revoke this using the statute that we have to revoke the license, or if the license is forfeited by the insuree. So nothing would really change. The only thing, instead of the license being having an annual renewal, it would be just perpetual. And commissioner could let it stay out there. This would save the commission, insurance commission, save them money, less waste, and really would save money, save the state money.
Okay, taking advantage of technology. Any questions, additional questions on that, Senator Blackman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So is this for insurance companies or is this for insurance agents?
This would be insurance companies, insurance companies.
Okay. And so the agents, they continue to get, do they get an annual renewal? How does that work?
We might want commissioner.
2 years, he's answering, so we don't need. Okay, thank you, Ms. Senator Thomas.
Any other questions?
Okay, no questions. You have a motion, Senator Thomas?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move the title sufficient do pass.
Okay, Senate Bill, motion is title sufficient to pass Senate Bill 2669. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill will be reported. All right, Senate Bill 2856, Senator Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the committee. Thank you for having me here to speak on this bill. Briefly, the bill, as I see it, the purpose of this bill is to streamline and accelerate the permitting and installation of security fences on commercial properties that have an increased probability of theft. Just in summary, some things I noticed that are key to look at it. For number one, if anything zoned residential is exempted, this wouldn't qualify there. There has to be currently a fence in place that's at least 5 feet tall. This has to go behind that fence. It's a double fence, if you will, like a car lot or a distribution center. As you know, we've got a lot of theft happening with catalytic converters and things of that nature. It has to attach to an existing monitored alarm, which is required to be permitting. That's what this is attaching to, is that. Currently, 11 states have enacted legislation that have similar language to this. 8 states, including Mississippi, are looking at it. I think it's a good bill. I think it's a very narrow scope that we're looking at. The fence has to be on private property, where I thought there might be points of concerns, or in right of ways or things of that nature. I think we speak to where we've kind of narrowed it down where it's not in that. I'll answer any questions.
Senator Barr? I'm sorry. Delano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So is this limited to just battery charged security fences?
Yes, sir, it is. It's a 12-volt battery charge security system. We have high voltage fences all around. This does not speak to that.
Okay, so what are we, I'm a little bit lost. I didn't read the bill. Are we allowing for these battery charged security fences to be included in some type of an insurance coverage, or what are we
I don't
doing?
know about insurance. I think the reason we've got it before this committee is this alarm bill that we're attaching to the alarm law that's in place is under the purview of the insurance commission.
So do we allow like AC?
12-volt
Voltage.
DC is what it speaks to specifically.
Because I think it would be more effective if it was three-phase, quite frankly.
I would agree with that, but I think there may be a liability and safety issue. Battery charge security fence is a language that's in there, and it speaks to as an energizer that is powered by a commercial storage battery that is not more than 12 volts or direct current. The reason we have 12 volts or less is this system is designed to give a small voltage trigger to anyone that touches it, not enough to be harmful to them. As you know, we've got the high voltage fences, the horse fences and all that. We're not speaking to that piece. You know, if you can think of it, you got a fence now, take a car lot right down the road. We've got a fence, this fence will go behind it. It'll be several feet higher than it. If you get over the first fence, obviously you're probably where you shouldn't be. You get to this fence, you touch this fence, you get a charge, number one. Number two, we activate a monitored alarm system, which in turn notifies first responders. And that's where I think it's very critical that we've got oversight, because when we're rolling vehicles that we need to make sure, thus the alarm bill that requires the licensing that's currently in place.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Questions? Bill?
Yes, ma'am.
Are we now requiring, like if somebody's insurance is reduced by electronic protective system, are we now requiring that system to include this battery charge security fence?
No, ma'am. This is not, this is an or, not an and. It's just adding to the scope of the bill.
It says this term shall include a battery charge security fence, burglar alarm system, intrusion detection system, closed circuit video. So for somebody to say they have an electronic protective system, this says shall. So if they don't have a battery charge fence, they no longer have an electronic protective system based on how I read this bill.
That is not the way I understand it.
Well, it says shall on
Where?
line 58 and 59.
This term shall include a battery charge security fence, comma, burglar alarm system, comma, intrusion detection system, comma, closed circuit video system, or electronic access control system. I read that as any of those individually would be accepted to meet the criteria,
Okay.
not collectively.
Okay, so, I mean, why do we even need to put this in statute? I'm just curious as to why.
That is a very good question, because I did drill in on that a little bit. To me, the way I understand it, my opening statement was the purpose of this is to streamline the installation and permitting process is. We already have licensure that's required to have an alarm license for monitored systems, so we're putting it under that statute. It's taken 6 months to get permitting through some of the municipalities, or that's what we see happening with this. And when this need comes up, it's immediate. If somebody's got a car lot and they lost 6 catalytic converters last night, you wait 6 months, they may be out of business.
So
I think,
this will help streamline them being able to put it in a municipality.
as I see it, yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Williams, you have a motion?
Title sufficient do pass, Mr. Chairman, with no other questions.
I tell you what, excuse me, you make the motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, title sufficient to pass.
Bill 2856, the motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those bills will be reported. Rise and report.